23 degrees Celsius here in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily, your daily dose of sunshine. I'm Maupe Ogun Yusuf.
I'm Ayo Makinde. Today is October 13, and in the city of Lagos, the weather is looking 27 degrees. Does it feel like that? I don't know. Depends on what side of the divide you are. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Well, I can tell you, Ayo, that it clearly is not a very pleasant morning for students across tertiary institutions in Nigeria, as the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, has declared a total and thorough shutdown of all tertiary institutions, well, at least government-owned tertiary institutions across the country. Today, starting from today, they are going on strike, and this, they say, is because they see nothing on the ground to suggest that the federal government is going to be doing anything about the demands that they have been making over the last couple of months. Recall that ASUU had they had demanded that the conclusion of the renegotiated 2009 federal government ASUU agreement, the release of withheld 3.5-month salaries, sustainable funding of public universities, revitalization of public universities, and cessation of the victimization of lecturers in Lagos State University, Kogi State University, and the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. So quite a number of demands that they have given, and they say that after their 14-day notice given on the 28th of September, they have seen nothing on the ground. They say nothing sufficient on the ground to stop the implementation of the ASUU NEC resolution to embark on a 2-week warning strike at the expiry of their 14-day notice. So right now, it's a total and comprehensive strike declared by the Academic Staff Union of University here in Nigeria. Ayo, another very sad day for students, because we know that when elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. The federal government on its part is saying, well, they have been doing something. They have released, is it 50 billion naira? I think the Minister of Education, Tunji Maruf Alausa, was on a sister program just a few moments ago on Morning Brief to explain what it is that they have been doing. And they have also said that they're going to be implementing a no work, no pay arrangement. But I don't know where it leaves the students in all of this, Ayo.
There are so many things that I hope we are all considering whenever issues like this, come up. Well, as you said, the federal government says that they have resolved or reviewed conditions of service and several other things, except issues that involve the individual governing councils of the different universities. But what concerns me, as you said, it's something that concerns the students. And I hope we recognize the implications of strike, particularly with young people. When young people are not duly actively engaged, we have an idea of what could happen. And don't forget, they live in various states. I really don't know how the various state governments will cope or have coped over time whenever all of these things happen, because the risks of insecurity, the risks of all kinds of things come up at the same time. So that's on the one hand. On the other hand is, are we able to foresee some of these things happening and forestall them? Some of the issues ASUU is raising, they date back more than 10 years. That's about, what, 15 years now? Almost 15 years today. And one is wondering, is it that we are unaware that some of these issues are on ground? Markwe, I can only hope that all of us, every single one of us, wherever we are, wherever we find ourselves, are concerned not just about the students, not just about ASUU, not just about the federal government, but about Nigeria. Isamadi Emi, for instance, will tell you that the implication of treating students the way we are treating them now, the implications are not seen until another 20, 30 years from now. If we're treating them this way today, you can just imagine what they are likely to do when they find themselves in situations where they have to take decisions that concern lecturers?
Well, I think to forestall a situation like that, we are now seeing ASUU in Plateau State, well, at the University of Jos in Plateau State, engaging the students, to explain to them why it is that they are going on strike and to let them know at least that it's going to be for 2 weeks. The students appreciated the engagement. I think those are the pictures that you have been seeing. It was the engagement done by the lecturers at the University of Jos with students, and some of the feedback that they gave, showed that they appreciated the gesture of the lecturers. The question I always ask is, at the end of the day, are we sure that this 2 weeks will just be 2 weeks? They've said it's a warning strike, even though they've said it's going to be total and comprehensive. So let us hope that whatever it is that they are asking, because they have been in negotiations with the federal government, let us hope that at the end of these 2 weeks, because I doubt very strongly, unless something miraculous happens, I doubt very strongly that the strike will be called up before the end of the 2 weeks. But, I mean, we should always be hopeful, as to seeing the end to this, and that at the end of these 2 weeks, perhaps, if for any reason it has to be long drawn like this, that at the end of the 2 weeks, there would not be need to extend it, because we have seen ASUU go on strike for as long as 10 months. And I think that is what nobody wants to see. So let us hope that whatever it is, this 2 weeks will be sufficient to iron it out and see both lecturers and students back in school. But we'll take a break on the program now. When we come back, we'll be going to northwest Nigeria, where we'll be speaking with the governor of Jigawa State. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Well, I did say earlier that we're going to northwest Nigeria, where we'll be speaking with the governor of Jigawa State, Umar Namadi, who joins us virtually on the program. Your Excellency, thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. Shall I begin by asking you, on this latest, I'd like to take you up on the latest World Bank report. But before we go there, I do not know if you have a comment or two on this latest declaration of a strike action by ASUU.
Well, the strike action by ASUU, which is supposed to be a warning strike, I hope it will be a warning strike, because since the inception of this administration, this is the first time ASUU is declaring a strike. And I think the best thing would have been to go into the negotiation table, because the government is taking education seriously and is doing everything in terms of revitalization of infrastructure, both at the university level. And I think since the government is doing its best, the best thing is for the ASUU to sit down on a round table with the government rather than going on strike. I'm not strike, yes, they have the right as an association and as guaranteed by the Constitution. But I think the interest of the country, the interest of the student should be paramount.
Indeed. Well, we certainly hope that there will be a resolution in that regard. But, quite a lot to really unpack with developments in Jigawa State. Your state has continued to be quietly evolving, quietly developing, so to speak. And it certainly forms a whole. I'm sure that you must be very interested in reports such as the World Bank report, which was released recently. And as a member of the the APC leadership in the country, you must also be concerned about the broader implications of that report, not just for your state, but also for Nigeria. So starting with the report, I mean, it says that it's titled, Positive Economic Momentum in Nigeria, Now Time to Bring Home the Gains, talking about how, at the macro level, there has been great work being done, and they can see progress in that regard. However, it is yet to trickle down to the generality of the people of Nigeria. In your state, what would you say that you're doing for some of these reforms that we have now seen in Nigeria? It's caused some hardship. As a matter of fact, a lot of hardship, not some hardship, a lot of hardship for the generality of people. How would you say that you're helping to let this trickle down? Because some people say that at the end of the day, it's going to be carried out largely by authorities at the subnational level and also at the local government level.
Well, exactly. Like you said, the macroeconomics parameters have certainly improved, and the economy is doing very well as far as at the macro level. And also, you see, once the macro level is really doing well, then it will definitely trickle down for the micro to also improve. And you can see that generally the issue of food security, which is very, very paramount, even though we are not yet there where we wanted to be, but I think the way agriculture has been boosted in this country through the effort of the federal government and the various action of the subnationals has shown that really we are very soon going to achieve the food security we desired in this country. Now in Jigawa State, if I can go down to Jigawa State, I think because of what we are doing in terms of improving agriculture, we are able to bring in more land into productions. We are able to move, if we take specifically the production of rice, we are able to move the production from 70,000 hectares in 2020 and 2023 to about 200,000 hectares in 2024. And this year we are doing 315,000 hectares. This will 300,000 hectares with an average yield of 4%, 4 tons per hectare. We are hitting about 1.2 million tons. So I think this has really helped to bring in more land into production and bring in more use into production. And this is trickling down that now farmers are very happy that they are being supported and production is growing on. And I think it helps to reduce the rural-urban migration. We have a program that we call Rice Millionaire Program. This program is targeting at youth. And this program has helped to, and these youth are mainly designed or targeted to produce seeds for uptake by both the state and other seed companies.
Can you give us... This has, Your Excellency, sorry to interrupt you. I was going to ask you because you say that this agricultural intervention, this particular program which you have mentioned, is targeted mostly at young people. Can you tell us how many young people you have been able to, help so far?
Well, on this program alone, we have 1,100 young men because we have taken 100 youth in each of the federal constituencies in Jigawa State, which we have 11 federal constituencies, and in each constituency we have taken 100 youth. And that has been 1,100 youth that are engaged in this program of Rice Millionaires. And I think the guys are very, very happy. And I'm sure as of today, some of them, if you ask them to come and take a white-collar job, they will say thank you very much because of the income they are making through the farming. The farming in Jigawa is now a business, and people are seeing it as such. So, and with all the intervention, we are bringing more land into production by expanding our dams and also trying as much as possible to improve the irrigation infrastructure. That has already helped. Recently, we also asked all the local government chairmen to provide 100 hectares for the youth in the 27 local governments. And in each area there, you find that at least a minimum of almost 100 youth are being involved also. This is also so great. And sometimes even 200 youth, where you give a half hectare to a youth, so in 100 hectares, you will involve 200 youth. Where you give 100, you have 100 youth. So this has also helped to improve. And in fact, one interesting thing, because of the way the program has been accepted at the local level, some of the local government chairmen, instead of 100, we have asked them to do, they were able to do 200, they were also able to do 300. What we did in the state government, we supported them by drilling boreholes for them at all the levels. And also the local government provides input subsidy at a subsidized rate to the young men. And I think that has been able to improve the income of the people at the local level. So that means the economic activity at the macro level is trickling down to the local level, and people at the grassroots are very happy with the improvement in the economy.
So if I get you correctly, this program recently started, is that correct? It's a program that started this year?
No, it started in 2024.
In 2024. So by this year, we should start seeing the gains of the program.
Of course. Of course, we have even seen it. Not that we have started, we have seen it practically in Jigawa State.
Okay. Well, we know that...
I was telling you.
Sorry, Your Excellency. I think it's this distance between the two of us, virtually. I'd like to, find out from you, because we know that generally the problem for farmers, yes, even though security is now something that has come up in recent times, and especially in the northwest of Nigeria, and has, created a major challenge for farmers going to the farm. But in your state, you have a the situation is a little different. What I wanted to ask you, and this is a general problem across board for a lot of farmers, is taking the logistics to take their produce to the market. Accessing markets has been a major challenge for a lot of farmers. It's not because they don't produce a lot, but a lot of things get spoiled. Or rice would largely keep, but for those who do other things that are perishables and might not be able to get to the market before they spoil, what exactly are you doing to make sure that farmers are able to maximize and get the best from what it is that they have produced on the land, and that most of the money doesn't go to middlemen and thereby still leaving the farmers impoverished?
Well, actually, the post-harvest losses is a real problem in this country because of the absence of storage and everything. But I think in Jigawa State, what we are doing, especially for the rice, or for the wheat, for the cereal, we are trying as much as possible to see the state government is uptaking at the point. You see, the major post-harvest loss that is happening at the times of harvest, whereby people will want to sell the commodities when the prices are quite low, and then they may not be able to make a good income. So at that point, what we are doing is the state government is coming in to uptake at a premium price, and that will allow the farmers to go ahead and because now the way the thing is growing, that the state government may not have the financial muscles to continue to do that. We have started talking with the bank to introduce a warehouse receipt system. Now, this warehouse receipt system will allow farmers to go and keep their goods at the warehouse, and the bank will give them the little money they require at that time. And when the prices improve, they will be able to dispose of their goods and then pay back what they have taken. We are in discussions, and I hope it will produce. But in the long run, what we are seeking is we are trying to establish a commodity exchange market in Jigawa State. We have already done the framework, and we are looking for partners. Some partners have indicated interest that we are going to do PPP arrangement to establish a commodity market. That will help a lot in trying to reduce the post-harvest losses. Now, for the perishables is also quite a very serious issue. But what we are trying to do, recently we have received a presentation, the Jigawa State Executive Council received a presentation on how we can be able to provide dryers, solar dryers, that will help the farmers at the time of harvest, instead of allowing the vegetables to perish, or instead of slicing them and putting them under the sun, that will, which is not very hygienic. We are trying to provide dryers on cluster basis. That dryers, especially for areas where they are growing vegetables, these dryers will help the farmers after slicing their vegetables. They can put them and dry them. They can also grind them into powder, and then we can be able to see how we can package them and then sell them. This is what we are trying to do, and we have already expecting that the rice to start trickling in, and we will start a model with some selected areas, and then if we see the result outcome of that, then we'll be able to expand.
Your Excellency, I'm not alone on this conversation, so I'm going to send it to Lagos now for questions from my colleague Ayo.
Thank you, Mark. Your Excellency, I think congratulations is in place for the Governor of the Digital Governor of the Year award that you won. Most certainly something to look forward to. Everyone will be, particularly young people, you know, the fact that that is a thought in your by your government to even think about that says a lot as to how well you are even thinking about young people. But let's speak about that for a bit. Jigawa State is in northwestern Nigeria, and one would wonder what triggered your interest.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Your Excellency?
Hello? Ayo.
Yes.
It's breaking. You're breaking.
Can you hear me better now? Your Excellency, can you hear me well?
Okay, yeah, now I can hear you better.
Beautiful. So what triggered your interest in...
yeah, I'm a bit better now.
Yes, thank you. What triggered your interest in upscaling Jigawa State in the area of digital technology?
Well, you see, we thank God that our modest effort in ICT and digital economy is being recognized, and we have been given the governor of the digital economy for Northwest. Actually, if you can remember that Jigawa State is the best setter in terms of ICT in Nigeria. And the Galaxy ITT, that was the source, or that is the root of the Galaxy backbone in Nigeria is from Jigawa. And that has, this is quite impressive. So we are trying to bring back the lost glory of Jigawa in terms of ICT. That is why we are doing all we can. But for instance, the Galaxy ITT, which has been moribund for the last 20 years, we have now reactivated it and is back to life. At least we have brought in personnel who are professionals, and they are managing the place very well. Again, we have set in an agency, Jigawa State ICT and Digital Economy Agency, which is an agency set by law. And this agency is doing a lot to see how we can improve the ICT knowledge across the state. For instance, with the agency, in collaboration with the Agency of Economic Empowerment, about 1,000 youths has been trained. And with our collaboration with the GLOA, they have been trained on artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. I can assure you that some of these guys are now sitting in the comfort of their house, in their rooms, and are making money because of that training. Again, we have done a lot in trying to improve the e-governance system. About 1,000 civil servants were trained on the Train the Trainer program. And they are now going back, disseminating the same knowledge to other civil servants. This has also helped improve service delivery in the state. Again, we have decided, again, as a result of that, education sector, we have introduced what we call Jigawa Compete. And this is a digital system for teaching, for learning at the secondary school level. With the support of UNICEF, all our 287 secondary schools are connected with the internet. And I think from here, the headquarters, the educators can be able to monitor what is happening in each and every school. And then they will also monitor attendance, they monitor teachers participating in class. So that has helped to improve both attendance and help also to improve the learning outcome. Because the GeoCompete helps to also allow the teachers to prepare their lesson plan all through the system, and then they will also deliver their lesson. And the children are coping up with what is happening. At the basic level also, in collaboration with the New Globe, we have introduced what we call Jigawa Unite. This Jigawa Unite at the basic level help to improve the learning outcomes. And for the last 6 months, we have engaged them. I think the result is coming out fairly okay. That the learning outcome is quite in literacy and numeracy is quite improving and impressive. So these are all the efforts we are doing in terms of ICT, both the civil servant in terms of e-governance, both the education in terms of schools, both at the basic and intermediate level, and also the Galaxy ITT is now rolling out internet services and to various MDAs, and I think that is given a lot of improvement in terms of ICT and digital economy there. The agency is working hard to do a lot of things, both at the center and also at the local government level.
Well, Your Excellency, perhaps one of the questions that one would want to ask is about the sustainability. Because one way I think that the sustainability can be ensured is to see, okay, this initiative is working, and consequently we as a people, we need to sustain it. So the sustainability plan you may want to speak to. As you answer this question, Your Excellency, if you can identify maybe like 3 services that a common citizen in Jigawa State previously queued for or took a while, that as a result of this e-governance initiative and other things that you've spoken about, now takes a much shorter time.
Well, you see, for example, the internet services. The internet services earlier on is not, but as at today, the internet services that is being provided by the Galaxy ITT, now all the MDAs are connected with the internet, and then they can be able at their offices. Also that has improved the services at the lower level, because all these private centers that are providing internet services will also be able to talk to Galaxy ITT, and the Galaxy ITT will provide them with the services at a much cheaper rate that they can be able to make a profit. Now, also in terms of artificial intelligence, like I said earlier, our collaboration with the Guloa will help us with train about over 1,000 youths, and these guys are now keen in at the comfort of their office. They are making a lot of money, and this money is made in dollars. And they are comfortable. Also, the blockchain technology also. This is also another way where our youth are trained, and then they are making a very good future on that. Now, on the e-governance, you see, over 1,000 civil servants were trained. And these civil servants now I will not only this knowledge they are acquiring will not only help them while they are in service, but because of the continuous training that we are giving, that will help them even after retirement. They will be able to find a means of livelihood. Now, sustainability, that is why we are saying that we have set up an agency by law, which is looking at all these things and is trying as much as possible coming up with all policies that will help to improve the digital economy system. Again, you see, our Institution of Information Technology in Kazauri, which has been a premier institution in this country, I can tell you as of today, both in the private and public sector, hardly you can get an agency, a place where you cannot see Jigawa State indigenous or a trained person from Jigawa State Information of Technology. When we came in, we see, okay, this is quite something we need to improve the status of this, and we have upgraded the institution from an institution of information technology to a polytechnic of information technology and digital economy. So these are all issues that are aimed at ensuring sustainability in this process.
Well, Your Excellency, I apologize. I'm not sure you quite answered my question, but I'm hoping that the commissioner or whoever is in charge will be able to take it up and release it to the press. But because we have a number of other things to raise with you, permit me to take you back to the issue of agriculture that you were taking my colleague Mark on earlier. One of the initiatives that I know that your government has signed up to is what they call the special agro-industrial processing zones as part of the initiatives to improve food security in the country. I know that your government is only part of phase 2 of the special agro-industrial processing zones, which information available to us says that all the states who are going to be benefiting from that have access to something in the region of between $1 and $2.2 billion. Where is Jigawa State in preparation for phase 2? I asked that question, Your Excellency, because a good number, some of the states in phase 1, just about 7 or 8 of them, have yet to take off on the project. And it's a lot of money that is going to be lost if we do not take advantage of it. So from where Jigawa State stands, where is Jigawa State on the special agro-industrial processing zones, particularly phase 2, where your government is signed up to?
Well, you see, like you said, actually the first one of the program, there is a little delay on it. The 7 states that have signed on since the last 1 or 2 years, they are yet to take up. But I think the second phase is coming up a bit faster because for us in Jigawa State, we have done all what is required, and they have come here, they did assessment once, and they did the second assessment, and they are satisfied with what is on ground, and that we are ready for the program. So we are still waiting now. As far as we are concerned, we have done all the needful, and we are waiting for the kickoff of the program.
Well, what problems, in your opinion, will the special agro-industrial zones in particular solve for you in Jigawa State?
Well, I think, you see, with the experience of what happens in the first phase, I think all the issues that are likely to be problems in the implementation are now being solved. Both the implementers and those of us that are keen in, we have seen what has happened, and I think all the necessary steps has been taken to ensure that the second phase is so smooth and then take off without any hitch.
Well, no, the question I'm asking, Your Excellency, is, for instance, while in response to Marquez's question, you were talking about post-harvest losses and how you're dealing with it. Will it solve remarkably or significantly the problem of post-harvest loss? Will it solve the problem of insecurity? Will it help farmers to feel more secure to produce? Those are the questions that I would like you to answer.
Well, you see, the agro-processing zone is not only that, it will help in so many areas. For instance, now, with the agro-processing zone, the farmers will be able to find to add value to their product. Instead of selling raw materials, now they will be able to add value to some of their products. Farmers will be clustered, and then they will be able to add value to whatever they are producing, and that will make them gain more income also in the process. Again, the issue of post-harvest losses and the issue of price instability, all will, I think, will come to play, will be thing of the first, because in the course of that, more industries will come in, more mini industries will come in, and that will help to increase competition. And that once the competition is increased, that means there'll be more supply. And then that is also the product being value has been added to the product. The demand for the product will be much better. So I think the agro-industrial zone in the long run will help to improve the economic status of the people at the grassroots, and that will also deal with so many issues that we are having in terms of post-harvest losses, in terms of other issues that are hindrance to the success of farming activity in this country.
Excellency, are you dealing with the issue of poverty in its entirety in Jigawa State? Now, one of the issues that Marquez raised with you earlier, particularly as it connects with the World Bank report, which the federal government is not agreeing with, is that all of the at least most significant quantum of the microeconomic issues happen at the state levels. And whatever macroeconomic gains the federal government is getting, if it does not trickle down to the people in terms of microeconomic life of the people, then we have nothing to celebrate indeed. So there are those who are wondering that if the states have the responsibility of ensuring that the lives of the people are touched at the lowest levels, and the government and the people are not feeling it. And as Marquez said earlier, the people are feeling a lot more pinch than slight. So how is Jigawa State dealing with the problem of poverty and insecurity in a way that people can say, okay, well, the effect of whatever the gains the federal government is getting, we are also getting it in our state?
Well, in terms of poverty, I think we're doing a lot. Like when we came in, one of the things we have agreed that every year we'll reduce the level of poverty in Jigawa State by at least 10%. I'm happy to say that after the year 2024, the assessment that has come up is we have reduced the poverty by about even 15%. So we have surpassed what we are trying to do. And this has to do with the readings of the macroeconomic stability at the federal level. Now, like I always said, you see, the macroeconomic stability will have to trickle down to become the micro at the lower level, where people's lives will be improved. I have told you the agricultural initiative, the agricultural transformation that is taking place in Jigawa, And I think it's trickling down not only at the local government level, not only at the ward level, but even at the polling unit level. I can assure you that what we are trying to do is, what we are doing is reaching up to the polling unit level of the people. Whatever you are doing, if you are providing subsidy for input, that will go down to the polling unit level. And you can see people there very happy doing their farming activities. And also, we are also expanding the irrigation facilities, not only at the local government level, not at the state level, but also down to the polling unit level. Now, for example, we have done what we call at the offland areas. In Lalashi is a village, down village is close to desert. These people, they have never dreamed that they will do irrigation farming. And what we did in that place is we have drilled industrial boreholes. And this industrial boreholes, and today, if you go to Lalashi, it's a hub of business activities. The young women along that areas, they no longer move even to their own local government headquarters. And the one thing is that it's not only to ask them encourage the production, but also get them the market. These people travel as far as from Kaduna to come and uptake these products that are produced by these guys. They produce maize, sweet maize, they produce onion, they produce watermelon, they produce so many other vegetable crops. And people are coming down.
Well, again, my apologies,
and taking that, and in fact, paying them in advance.
Yes,
so you can see that the macroeconomic improvement at the federal level is trickling down to the lower level, so the microeconomy also is improving as far as the concerned. And I'm sure also the other national level.
Yeah, my sincere apologies, Your Excellency. At the end of the day, it's he who feels it that knows it. I hope the people will agree with you in some of the things that you said. Well, just one last question from me before I give it back to Maokwe. We hear that Your Excellency, your party said 57,000, or maybe in some numbers, 66,000 people decamped to your party at a rally in Dutse Stadium recently. Now, we understand that Dutse Stadium holds between 10,000 and 20 to 25,000 people at a time. And so and that's even if we double that for the overflow outside, the numbers still don't quite add up. So I'd like you to clarify how the head count was determined. How many people really decamped? How many people were at the stadium?
You see, you have to understand that, we have almost 66,400 people that decamped to APC. But that does not mean all the 66,400 people were at the stadium. That cannot be possible. But there are, and we have a booklet we have submitted to the national party, the national chairman of our party, that contains the name of the 66,400 people. A booklet, a booklet that shows, and each one with his name, his local government number, his local government, and his ward and his polling unit. These are all there in the booklet. So it's not something that, but you can't imagine all the 66,400 will be at the stadium. But I'm sure your reporters at the stadium have seen the number of people that are in the stadium, both inside and outside the stadium. In fact, Jigawa has never, for the last 10 years, has never seen a crowd like that. So I think it's something that is very practical, that has been seen practically. It's not something that can be argued. It's there physically. Your reporters are there, and I'm sure they can tell you what happens there. But we are not saying all the 66,400 people were at the stadium. No, that is not correct.
Your Excellency, well, we're certainly I don't think anyone else did a head count, so it's going to be very difficult to controvert. I think what we're just trying to clarify is, holding capacity of the stadium versus how many people we heard decamp. But let me take you up on the issue of security. You have been able to do some work in that regard, and it would seem that most of the conflicts that have been reported in Jigawa State have been low-level conflicts. However, generally across the country, there is a broader conversation around the need for state police. You have employed the services of about 10,000 young people to try and help keep the peace at the local level in your state. Would you support state policing? I was asking, Your Excellency, if you would support state police.
Yeah, I said we have already supported, not that we will support. We have supported state policing because we are part and parcel of the sign off for the state policing.
Why is it taking so long to implement then?
Well, you see, these are process and procedures that has to be done. It's not something that will come overnight. But I think the people responsible are doing their best. This issue has been discussed at NEC, and I think almost all the states, I think about one or two, I cannot remember fully, that have not signed, but I think almost all the states are in agreement with the state policing. And I think very soon these things will come up. Because it requires a lot of things, it requires a lot of legislation, it requires a lot of processes. It's not something that one can wake up and say, okay, state police is introduced. No. It has a process, it has a legislation, has to be tampered with, and so many other things. So I think the process is going on, and I'm sure it will happen.
In the meantime, what are you doing to check the excesses of the vigilante groups that you have employed?
Well, so far, I think what they are doing is quite, but the vigilante group we have taken is also for the protections of assets at our secondary school, at our hospitals, at our court. So majorly their job is the protection of these assets, because we felt that this asset will always improve, on this asset will always provide this asset, and then they are left unguarded, and a lot of issues are coming up. So I think from so far so good with what is happening, I think the number of vandalization and that is coming up, I think has reduced drastically. And I think we are happy with what we have done.
Your Excellency, Umar Namadi, thank you so much for speaking with us on Sunrise Daily this morning. We hope to catch up with you again sometime very soon. Thank you once more for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me in the program. Thank you so much.
We have been speaking with His Excellency Umar Namadi of Jigawa State, and we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at other matters coming up in the polity. Please stay with us. Now switching gears, we're still staying on national and perhaps international matters now, because sometimes developments that happen internationally also concern us. We're being joined by Mr. Matthias Sado, who is a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for joining us this Monday morning that we woke up to a strike action by ASUU. I do not know what your reaction, was when you heard that particular news. ASUU declaring a total and comprehensive shutdown as a result of the federal government's inability to meet their demands.
Thank you, Mwakwe. I'm happy to be here again. I think it's unfortunate that a nation like Nigeria would have a situation where a problem will linger for so many years, and then people come into government or leadership or power without a comprehensive plan on how to solve these problems. President Tinubu, for whatever you had an intention to run for office, I ran for office, and there were plans on how to address most of these issues. For my understanding, the problem of ASUU have lingered for so long that it is an embarrassment now for us as a nation to even be discussing these things. Because the problems that these people have been talking about, there's the same problems that are still here. The education sector. When the president came on the 29th of May and said subsidy was gone, why didn't he at least allocate maybe 10% or 20% of whatever was removed from subsidy and use it to solve the problem of ASUU? Why is that such a difficult thing? So, you see, when we talk about the fact that the system of leadership in Nigeria is not interested in solving problems, people say we make too much noise. But sincerely speaking, if you look at the problems as at today, what ASUU, in fact, as a matter of fact, to be honest, what sector of this country, aside from politics, is working? So virtually everything, every area, I believe that almost every one of us in this country should be on strike. because sincerely, government has failed. Now, this government came in, and that is over 2 years ago, and they could not sit down to say, we will look at the problem of education, ASUU, and then avoid this kind of embarrassment with somebody that everybody described as I don't know the right word to use for it, but there was so much description for President Tinubu that he was like a solution to almost all the problems.
In fairness, ASUU hasn't gone on strike in 2 years. They haven't gone on strike.
And that is because they have been patient, waiting for the president.
Do you think they were provoked, though? Because, you know, the minister made a statement that the 2009 agreement, that there was no such agreement. And that was quite controversial because, according to the minister, that the agreement wasn't signed, it wasn't gazetted, you know, it was just...
You see, these are the kind of things that you get from people in government. If he was on the side of ASUU, I'm sure he would not be saying that. I don't think that ASUU would be so flippant with their demands to government that they will not ensure that whatever they are asking, forget about whether it was gazetted or not. The truth is that the issues that they are discussing today, the issues that they put on the table today, are they relevant?
That's the question.
What happens to, just take your time, Markwe, and go to our universities. I don't know if you went to public university. I went to one.
I did.
But honestly speaking, the staff quarters where those people, the lecturers, where they occupy, where they stay, to be honest with you, is an eyesore today. The student hostels, everything has dilapidated. People, you know, we are so unfortunate as a society to have had a set of leaders that when they come into government, they don't look at these problems as if they are problems. They begin to see, instead of seeing the problem that ASUU is presenting to them as an issue, they begin to see ASUU as a problem. And that is unfair to the people.
There is an extensive conversation on ASUU, on Nigeria's tertiary education, public tertiary education system. And it's a conversation I'm hoping that we can have one day. But let's quickly speak to this presidential pardon, which, you know, was also given, that has now created controversy. It was meant to assuage feelings. Ogoni 13 pardon, Kensa Ribo amongst them. Herbert Macaulay remembered at all. But then there were a number of other names that were also controversial. I mean, we heard Farouk Lawan was also pardoned, and a number of other Nigerians as well, you know, whom some people thought, should we really be pardoning these people at this time, given what sort of message are we sending? So, for you, where do you stand on this?
Yeah, please, I'm on the side of the people. Majority of Nigerians have looked at that list and have said, look, this is not nice, this is not good, this is not the thing that the government should be doing at the moment. Look, please, Mwakwe, what exactly is the impact of that decision on the Nigerian economy today? What exactly is the impact of that decision on Nigerian society today? That you just, as a president, wake up one morning and then all you want to do is to cause controversies that will make Nigerians to begin to debate and talk about it. Look, Farouk Lawan, Honorable Farouk Lawan, have served his term. Right? Now, what exactly is the essence of pardoning him? You are pardoning him for perhaps for political moves, that you want to use him as a pawn on a chessboard to play around Kanu politics. See, Nigerians are not daft. We understand when leaders want to. Look, if you as the president of this country, you have delivered on the mandate that everybody has been standing, why should you be looking for such kind of cheap political weapons to win an election? That the president today is focused on 2027 is an aberration and is an insult to Nigerian people. Because it's not fair to us. Look at this. Look at the cost of living in this country today. Just a few days ago, report came out and said 139 million people are on below poverty level, and then the response of the president of this country will be to say, I am going to free criminals. Why didn't he just open the prison doors and let everybody come out?
Big questions. Mr. Sada, I wish we had a little more time, even though some people say you've only taken the negative part of that World Bank report. You did not see the positive side to it, but we certainly will bring you again
it's all right.
to have an extended
conversation.
It's always a pleasure
to be here.
We have to thank you very much for weighing in on the conversation. Mr. Matthias Sado is a public affairs analyst. And that's how we're wrapping up this beautiful Monday morning. It's been quite a ride with you. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. I'm Maokbe Ogun Yusuf.
Well, just a quick one to let you know that there are a number of bodies within ASUU that are distancing themselves from the strike. Stay with Channels Television, you get more. I'm Aya Makinde. Enjoy the rest of your day. Business Morning is next.